Donnie and Dolly, the team is supported by ableauctions.ca. Closing your business? We can help.
That's what I'm talking about. All of our guests today, including Ross Tucker. We just found out not that long ago, Baker Mayfield, Rick.
Yeah.
Released by Carolina. Sponsored by Basant Motors. Get a gift with every financed vehicle this holiday season, like 6 months of gas. 6 months of gas. I get that in the studio every day. No payments until the summer or a gift card up to $1,000. Get all the info at BASANTMotors.com. From the Ross Tucker Football Podcast, CBS Sports and Westwood One. We are joined by Ross Tucker to talk some NFL. How are you, sir?
I am awesome. I love, Donnie, every week when you say that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
That's what I'm talking about. Gets me fired up for you guys every week.
All right. Well, I'm glad to hear that. Let's talk about what I just talked about. Not Basant Motors. I'd love to talk about that, the entire segment, but Baker Mayfield, released by Carolina. Do we connect the dots with San Francisco, and just your opinion of his future and him as a quarterback?
Well, so, look, in Carolina, he was right now the number 3 quarterback behind Sam Darnold and Walker, and they stink. So, that wasn't a good spot for him. So he's trying to go somewhere where maybe he has a better chance for the rest of this year. There are other teams. Look, the Rams need quarterbacks with Matthew Stafford done for the year, or maybe it is a team like the 49ers. Now, there's a lot of other teams that could claim Baker Mayfield and the remainder of his salary before the Niners in the pecking order. The Niners are 24th. So 23 other teams could say, we'll take Baker. Maybe it's the Houston Texans who want to take Baker for a spin for the last month of the season. You never know. I wouldn't be surprised, though, if Baker did this with the idea of hoping that perhaps the Niners do claim him and he can back up Brock Purdy, and maybe Purdy either struggles or gets hurt and Kyle Shanahan puts him in. I mean, Baker Mayfield's a guy that Kyle Shanahan really liked coming out of college. I think he's a good fit for that offense. So Baker's doing everything he can to try to put himself in the best position for the rest of his career based on what he does the rest of this year. Makes sense.
You, like a lot of people, high on the 49ers, and they end up winning yesterday with Brock Purdy at quarterback, 8-4 now. How far can they go with Brock Purdy behind center?
I don't think anybody knows, man.
Yeah.
I mean, probably not that far, right? I mean, when's the last time an essentially undrafted rookie free agent took a team very far? I can't remember any time. Now, do I think he can play at a pretty high level? Yeah, I didn't see much difference between him and Garoppolo, to be honest with you. But what's different now for Brock Purdy, if he's the starter, is he'll start to face a bunch of different defenses. Every week they'll try something different, right, that they haven't shown him before, and see how he handles it. Maybe he just keeps crossing off the T's and dotting the I's every week. But usually with a player like this, teams will be able to figure out at some point some things that he struggles with, and then he'll see it every week until he or the Niners somehow correct it.
Ross, I remember early in the season there was concerns about the Bengals. We had all talked about it. Now there's 4 straight wins. Joe Burrow has outdueled Patrick Mahomes again. That's 3 times he's beaten him in the last 12 months. Are they peaking at the right time for you?
Certainly looks like it, yeah. I know this much. They are much better, Rick, along the offensive line than they were earlier in the year. Some of that's understandable, right? I mean, these guys have stayed healthy. They've had essentially the same 5 for the whole season. That really helps. That continuity, that chemistry, knowing what the guys on the either side of you are going to do, I think goes a long way, and they're playing at a much better level. I mean, Burrow wasn't even hit that much against the Chiefs.
Yeah.
And so I think that's probably the biggest difference in the team is just the way the O-line played over the first month, the way they've been playing over the last month.
Russell Wilson, I'm seeing a lot of hate. I'm seeing a lot of negative media attention, justifiably so, Ross. But look at this. Carson Wentz has 2 more touchdown passes than Wilson, and Wentz hasn't played since week 6. Did you ever in a million years think, I mean, they'd be 3-9? This is just unbelievable.
No. And I've got actually a lot to say about this. So, number one, nobody could have ever thought it would be this bad. And what's interesting to me about it is there's a common refrain, which is, well, they're going to fire the coach, which of course they are, and see if somebody else can come in and get him to play better. The thing that's so interesting to me about that Greg Cosell mentioned on the Ross Tucker football podcast, is that he joins me every Thursday, is that what's always made Russell Wilson special is sort of the second reaction plays, right? Like, not the play that's there initially, but it breaks down and he runs around and nobody can touch him, and then he does a spin thinger and he throws it for a long pass. Well, how does that change with a new coach? Yeah. It's not like the coach calls, all right, Russell, do that thing where no one can touch you and you run around for 10 seconds and throw a touchdown on 5. Ready? Break. Like, it doesn't work that way.
Yeah.
Right? So getting a new coach isn't going to help that. And Greg Cosell said to me, and I've noticed this as well, he can't do it. He's like lost the second reaction plays. So that's the football part of it. The off the field part of it really bothers me. Okay? Yeah. He has become a punching bag. He has become the thing that we all like to say. It's like when there's a coach that's never won a playoff game, like a Marvin Lewis, and that's all anybody ever says about him. Or Kirk Cousins in primetime games, that's all anybody ever says about him. I can't stand that. Now, Russell Wilson is like the 5th grader that is kind of an outcast, so everybody picks on him, and you don't want to be the person that gets picked on, so you join the group, right? Like, it's, yeah, I'm with you guys. I'm with the cool group. Let's just keep making fun of Russell Wilson. Enough. It's piling on, talking about how many people were at his birthday party. I mean, all that stuff. I think it's become too much now, and it bothers me.
Yeah, it's easy. Cowboys continue to roll 33 points in the fourth quarter last night against Indy. Do they need OBJ?
Based on last night, not necessarily, but I think it would be nice for them to have one more weapon. I do think Michael Gallup did some nice things for them. It's interesting because all of the teams Odell Beckham Jr. is visiting, the Giants, the Cowboys, the Bills, they really could use one more receiver. I mean, I guess you could argue who couldn't, right? Who couldn't argue, add one more good receiver. I'll just say this, and I don't know if we talked about this before. I think it's going to be one of the most overhyped, ineffectual signings in NFL history. I just don't think he's going to do very much. I mean, he got hurt in the Super Bowl. I think this is all a big media blitz, endorsement thing, marketing spin. I don't really envision – he hasn't played all year. Like, all of a sudden now he's going to come out and play really well for these teams. Highly doubt it. Think it's going to be a big waste of time.
Are you paying attention to the World Cup of football?
I was when the U.S. was in it.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, I was when the U.S. was in it because the U.S.'s best player grew up like 5 miles from my house right here.
Really?
Christian Pulisic grew up in Hershey, Pennsylvania, which if I was very adventuresome, probably could ride my bike over to. But so that I was paying attention to it, but now that they're out, totally out of it. Are you guys?
Well, we're in the same boat. The Americans lasted longer than Canada did, but Canada was out in the first round. So, yeah, still paying attention, but obviously not as invested as we would if our country was still in it. First time for us since '86, so that was a big deal. Meanwhile, my front page story. Christmas is around the corner. What can you tell us?
I can tell you that it's by far the best gift you can get anyone for any reason, especially the holidays. By the way, my partner in the business, Nathaniel, told me it seems like we're getting a lot of orders from Canada.
Whoa!
There you go. Why that would be?
Yes.
And I'd be like, yes.
Right here.
I do know why that is. Now, I do talk to some folks in Toronto as well, so I'll just throw that out there.
Don't mention that.
Like this. Not on video, not like this. Love the folks in Vancouver. Go to myfrontpagestory.com. Look, to me, it's the gift that lasts forever. It's your loved one on the front page of a newspaper, framed, beautiful, and they hang it up in their house. So it's the gift that lasts forever, even when they're gone, right? Like if it's your grandmother, grandfather, you'll still have that. My goal in this business is for everybody to get one of these things written about them before it's too late. Go to myfrontpagestory.com. I guarantee you they will love it. myfrontpagestory.com.
Canadian sales just went up 21% in the last 2 minutes, Russ.
I love
good
it.
job.
I love it. Vancouver, represent.
Yeah.
Next week. Thanks, Ross. All the best.
See you, dudes.